Hi everybody, this is Chris Sainsbury at UX Connections, and today I'm going to be answering the question, what is UX design? It might sound like a simple question, but I think it's really important to get back to basics and understand what UX is, and specifically UX design. I talked in my previous video about the difference between UX research, which is understanding your users, conducting primary research to get their user needs and goals clear, and UX design, which is where you translate those findings into digital design. Now, it's important to distinguish UX design from, say, graphic design or even UI design. And UX is all about the user experience, so you're not so involved with the colors, the fonts, the aesthetic appeal of the pages, although of course that does affect the user experience, so it is important that those things are done well. But UX design is much more about the information layouts on the page, what we call the information hierarchy. And a simple way to describe information hierarchy that we're all familiar with is a newspaper. And you can be familiar with a newspaper headline, which is the most important thing. So a newspaper is actually very effective design in that it allows you to scan across the page, identify the headlines that you're interested in, and then you can zoom in and get more information when you need it. So thinking about that information hierarchy from a headline, the overall title of a website, then a headline, then some bullet points often to summarize the article, and then the body text. That's all a hierarchy with tier 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of information, which is part of what we do in UX. We also think about screen flows and the way one screen moves to the next, and form fields. So we're all familiar with filling out a form, and it's called error validation when you're getting those form fields wrong and the page is asking you to make corrections, which is frustrating. But if you design the UX design of that right, it can really help. So the deliverables associated with UX design are typically sitemaps, where we show every single page of the website, and app maps if it's for an app. They're also user journeys, which is where you break down each step of a journey through a digital experience. And finally, wireframes, which are black and white, and we tend to do very high fidelity wireframes that are pretty much like a photocopy, a black and white photocopy of the color design. So high fidelity, but they're really like a blueprint, and they have annotations that detail on as much information as possible about how the interface works, what the UX should be, and provide almost like a Bible or a central resource for all the information about an interface. So that's my summary of UX design. Thanks for listening.